Hi there. In this video I'll be showing you how to make a cuff vent for a formal shirt as pictured here. So to start off with, here's a sample of cloth which will represent the sleeve, and this is the right side or the outside of the sleeve. The sleeve hasn't been sewn together yet. At the place we want to make the cuff vent, we'll sew on a piece of cloth. Now that piece of cloth will be the border for the cuff vent and can be the same type of cloth, or it could be in a contrasting cloth, for example with a pattern for extra effect. That extra cloth should be about 1.5 to 2 centimeters longer than the top of the cuff vent, and you can determine how long you want that cuff vent to be. This side is where the cuff will eventually be connected, and for the dimensions of the cloth, for the horizontal dimensions of the piece of cloth, we want about, if we want a 2 centimeter cuff vent, then we've got 2 centimeters here. On the smaller side of the cuff vent we'll have another 2 plus 2 plus 1 centimeter, and on the other side, for the bigger side or the outside of the cuff vent, we'll have a piece of 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 1 centimeter. This piece here is about, now it's slightly less than 1 centimeter, it's about 1/2 centimeter to 1 centimeter. It's not really too important as long as it gets folded inside, as you'll see in a moment. And the height of this should be about 2 to 2.5 centimeters. It's not really important. It will affect how big the outside of the cuff vent looks, but we'll see that in a moment. So we sew this piece of cloth now on to where the cuff vent will be. This line of this line of thread, basting thread, represents where the cuff vent will be, and on either side of the cuff vent we sew up 1 centimeter, a corner to 2 centimeters over, and then down the other side again on 1 centimeter away from where the cuff vent will be clipped. So the next stage is to cut both the sleeve cloth and the cuff vent cloth down the center where the cuff vent is to be, and then we cut into the corners, not up to but not over the thread that we've placed. And then we can turn this entire inside. We turn the cloth over, we turn the entire inside to the outside. So we'll see here that inside piece of cloth has been folded completely to the outside. At this point we can see our markings here that I made earlier. We can fold over on the smaller side that 1 centimeter over, and then taking this piece we fold over to the stitching. Now at this point we should use basting or pins to keep it in place. On the other side, on the big side, again 1 centimeter over, and then fold it over the top to that stitching, and that's again where we'll base it or use pins to hold it in place. this is what it looks like at the top. We take the big piece, we fold it just slightly over, and we lay it down. And that's basically the form of our cuff vent right there. What we now need to do is base this into place, base the top into place, iron it so that it's nice and firm, and this is then the result of, in this case, pinning it and then ironing it. Again, this is the right side, the outside of the sleeve, and what we want to do is then we can either hand stitch this so it's completely invisible, and hand stitch this so it's completely invisible, and then we want to machine stitch a square around here. That can also be hand stitched if you like. I personally like the effect of a stitching on top. So once it's finished, this is the end result. We have a sleeve with top stitching here. The square part which got folded over here, I've got top stitching here. You might, for extra design effect, want to put a cross. That's up to you. And that's it. It looks complicated, but once you've played with a few samples of cloth, like I did here, you'll actually find that going from this form to here is actually fairly straightforward. I hope this has been helpful.